That's the way you've always been with me, but you're just been struggling. I've known you since you were 17 years old,
Yes,
and
sir.
it's an addiction issue rather than a criminal issue. This was at South Erie Street and Michigan Avenue. Good morning, Mr. Hovarder.
Morning.
This is Judge Middleton. This wasn't scheduled for anything, but I saw that you'd been picked up on a parole hold, and so I thought I would bring you in and talk to you about this case from Three Rivers. Also here with us is Mr. Keith Stickley, the Chief Public Defender. I asked Tim to come, Chief Public Defender, not offender. You got charged with being a disorderly person for huffing in Three Rivers back on March 7th. The file number in the matter is 24421OM. You failed to appear for your arraignment, and I knew that you'd been on parole and you were at rehab or at Twin Counties or someplace. So I didn't do a bench warrant for your arrest. I did an order to show cause, and you didn't show up for the order to show cause. And so then I didn't do anything about it. And then your parole agent, Tracy Shabbat, called and said that you got picked up and she has a parole hold for you. So we need to deal. Well, we need to deal with this. It's a pretty insignificant charge. You got a day at the front end and a day now. So I think you've got 2 days of jail credit. The way
Sir,
it's charged. What's that?
I was in here for about 2 weeks.
Okay. After March 7th?
Yeah, I have about 14 days served on this already.
All right, well then we'll call it 14 days. Other than that, did anybody promise you anything to get you to plead to that charge
No, sir.
or threaten you?
No, sir.
All right, well, let's talk about it. The charge is disorderly person under Three Rivers ordinance. That's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100. The allegation is you were using chemical inhalants, and that's very debilitating. But they gave you a ticket, and then you didn't show up because I don't exactly know. You were in and out of one custody or another. Do you understand that if you do plead to that charge of disorderly person, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial? There will be no trial on this matter. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
If you had a trial, you would have the right to take the witness stand and testify in your own behalf. But you don't have to, because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury could not hold your silence against you. You'd have a right to have an attorney. You could hire one of your own choosing or ask me to appoint one for you. You'd have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to testify so they could be questioned under oath. And you have the right to be presumed innocent unless the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Let's take a look at this ticket.
I was very compliant, sir.
I'm sure you were. That's the way you've always been with me, but you're just been struggling. I've known you since you were 17 years old.
Yes,
And
sir.
it's an addiction issue rather than a criminal issue. This was at South Erie Street and Michigan Avenue. I guess that would, South Erie Street, I don't think goes all the way through to Michigan Avenue, but goes over by the trailer park.
Yeah.
All right, were you using some inhalant?
No, sir. I had it in my pocket and I was going to use it. I was on my way to the library. I actually didn't even use it that day. I still haven't even used it. It was brand new. It was in my pocket and I still hadn't even used it.
Well,
I was
good,
going
'cause
to, though. I was going to, though.
All right, we'll call it 14 days, credit 14 days. I'm gonna waive the fine. The state minimum fees on 125 or 2 days. Concur with your parole violation. Do you know what your PO wants to do?
Send me to rehab.
Well,
I'm
you
supposed to be
certainly
in the
need
Jim
it.
Gilmore Center right now. I'm supposed to be in the Jim Gilmore Center right now. That's where I'm supposed to be.
All right. Haven't you done that before?
Yeah.
Well, maybe one
It'll
time
help
it'll
me,
take.
sir.
What's
It'll
that?
help me. It's gonna help me,
Well,
sir. I'm really gonna use it for my advantage. It'll
I
help
hope
me.
so. You're not a kid anymore.
No,
And
sir.
I'm not telling you anything you don't know. You're just squandering your young life and you deserve better than this. Anyway, this case is done. One less thing you got to worry about. Inhalants don't show up on most drug screens. Urine tests certainly don't show up on a breathalyzer, but they're very, very damaging to your brain. And I hope you can stay away from that. All right,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Hobart, that takes care of this matter. I'll send a copy of this to your PO so she knows what happened. And
Thank you.
good luck at the Gilmore Center.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. He's right. He was in jail for some of that time on some parole ramifications. Then he got an appearance date on this ticket. And then he was someplace, Gilmore or Twin, and he didn't show up. But so then he went AWOL and she issued a parole warrant for him and he got picked up apparently yesterday. So I'm not sure that 14 days is the exact amount of days, but it's close enough for what we're doing here. All right, thanks for your help. I have a probation violation with Lori Hines in about 8 minutes. So I'll see you, but that's all I had for this morning. The file number here is 24151OD.
El número de caso aquí es 24151 OD.
You got a ticket in Three Rivers
Usted recibió una multa en Tres Ríos
on January 28th
el 28 de enero
for driving while intoxicated.
por conducir en estado de ebriedad.
In Michigan, that's a misdemeanor.
En Michigan es un delito menor.
It is punishable by up to 93 days in jail
Conlleva una máxima penalidad posible hasta 93 días de cárcel.
a fine of up to $500,
Una multa hasta $500.
6 points on your driving record,
6 puntos en su registro de manejo.
and it requires that your license be suspended.
Y requiere que se le suspenda la licencia.
The prosecuting attorney for the city of Three Rivers
El fiscal para la ciudad de Tres Ríos
has agreed to reduce this charge to another charge known as impaired driving.
está de acuerdo con reducir la gravedad del cargo a un cargo que se llama
Could you
conducir
please
con las
silence that or take it out and hit it with a hammer or something?
a reducir la gravedad del cargo al cargo de conducir con las facultades disminuidas.
Impaired driving is a lesser included charge.
Conducir con las facultades disminuidas es un cargo de gravedad reducida.
It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail
Conlleva una máxima penalidad posible hasta 93 días de cárcel
and a fine of up to $300.
y una multa hasta $300.
Carries 4 points on your license rather than 6.
Conlleva 4 puntos en su licencia en lugar de 6.
It would allow you to keep a restricted driver's license
Le permitiría mantener una licencia con restricciones.
Do you understand the charge?
¿Entiende usted el cargo en su contra?
The charge is known as impaired driving.
Se le conoce al cargo como conducir con las facultades disminuidas.
Now, I didn't get an advice of rights.
No recibí la notificación de derechos firmado.
So I'm going to take a minute and go through those with you, and it applies to everybody else, Mr. Orsi, and anybody else who's here to do a plea. Do
Voy
you
a tomar
understand?
un,
I'm sorry, go
voy a
ahead.
tomar un momento para revisar sus derechos con usted, porque se aplica a todo lo que se encuentran aquí.
Do you understand that by pleading to this charge, you're giving up your right to have a trial that will not be a trial?
Usted entiende, al contestar culpable a este cargo de gravedad reducida, usted renuncia a su derecho a llevar el caso a juicio. No habrá ningún tipo de juicio.
That trial could be in front of the judge or a jury.
En el caso de juicio, pudiera ser por juez o por jurado.
If you had a trial, you'd have the right to have a lawyer.
Si hubiera un juicio, tendría el derecho a ser representado por un abogado.
We have appointed a lawyer for you.
Le hemos asignado un abogado de oficio para ayudarle.
You could also hire a lawyer of your own choosing if you wish.
Usted pudiera también contratar un abogado particular si quisiera.
If you had a trial, you'd have the right to take the witness stand and testify in your own behalf.
En un juicio, usted tendría el derecho de tomar el estrado y dar testimonio por su parte.
But you don't have to because you have a right not to testify.
Pero no tiene que hacerlo porque también tiene el derecho de no testificar.
And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury could not hold your silence against you.
En un juicio, si uno decide no testificar, el juez o el jurado no puede utilizar su silencio en su contra.
You'd also have the right to have any witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court.
También en un juicio tendría el derecho a que los testigos en su contra o a su favor comparecer en un juicio y si no quieren hacerlo, el juez puede ordenar su comparecencia
So they could be questioned under oath.
para que pudiéramos hacer preguntas a ellos bajo juramento.
And you have the right to be presumed innocent
También tiene el derecho a la presunción de inocencia,
unless they could prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
a menos que puedan comprobar que usted es culpable más allá de toda duda razonable.
Do you understand?
¿Entiende usted eso?
Did anyone threaten you to get you to plead to this charge?
¿Alguien le amenazó para que contestara culpable a este cargo?
No,
Or promise you anything?
¿O le prometieron algo?
no.
No.
This happened at about midnight in the city of Three Rivers.
Eso
On
sucedió
January
a la
28th.
medianoche en Tres Ríos.
Sí,
Where
Yes.
were you going?
¿A dónde iba?
a la casa de un amigo.
The interpreter couldn't hear because he's facing me, but he's not speaking into the microphone. Señor, ¿usted puede voltearse y responder al micrófono? Porque si no, no le escucho.
Ok, a la casa de un amigo.
I was heading to my friend's house.
Where were you coming from?
¿De dónde venía?
De la tienda.
From the store.
Remember what store?
¿Se acuerda el nombre de la tienda?
No,
What were you drinking?
¿Qué tomaba?
cerveza.
Beer.
What kind?
¿Qué tipo?
Corona.
Corona.
How many you think you had?
¿Cuántos coronas piensa que había consumido?
Pues la realidad, o sea, tuve como unas de 7 a 8. No,
Maybe 7 or 8.
Your blood alcohol was 0.17. Will you accept that, Ms. Ives?
Yes, Your Honor.
La concentración de alcohol en la sangre salió a 0.17. Licenciada, ¿acepte ese valor? Que sí.
Now, your attorney tells me that you are returning to Mexico in May.
Su abogado me dice que usted va a viajar nuevamente a México en mayo.
ajá. Es el 22.
Yes, Your Honor, I am looking at his visa and his expiration of visa is May 22nd, 2024.
Sí, su señoría, estoy mirando su visa y se vence la visa en mayo de 2024.
Ms. Ives, are you available on Monday, May 6th at 11?
No, that week I'm actually taking a week off and will be in Florida from the 1st through the 10th. I'm available on the 29th, if that's helpful. Or,
How about Monday, May 13th?
yes, I can be available on Monday, May 13th.
And then maybe we'll set some other cases for you on that day.
11 a.m. on that day, Your Honor?
Yes.
Está fijando fecha para regresar el 13 de mayo, es un día lunes.
In drinking driving cases, the law requires that I set the matter for a second date for the sentencing.
En casos de conducir en estado de ebriedad o con las facultades disminuidas, la ley requiere que postergo la fecha de la imposición de la condena
To get more information about what happened.
para recibir mayor información sobre qué es lo que pasó,
I'll get the police report,
el informe de policía,
find out more about you,
a saber más sobre usted
and we will deal with this at that time.
y vamos a tratar ese caso en ese momento.
Vivian, are you available on that day?
I was just looking, yes, I am. But what time?
11.
11, yes, I am.
Are you employed somewhere, sir?
¿Usted trabaja en alguna parte, señor?
Sí, en la empresa Walter Farms.
The interpreter couldn't hear the name of
Walter
the business.
Farms. It's a
Walter
potato
Farms, okay.
Okay, disculpa.
farm. Okay, sir. I'm gonna give you this. I
Le
want
voy a
you to go out
entregar
to the
esta hoja,
counter.
señor.
They will give you more information about coming back on that day.
Le va a dar mayor información sobre regresar en esa fecha.
This is when we come back to court.
Es la
Monday,
fecha en cuando
May 13th.
regresamos al tribunal.
Take this up to the front desk.
Sí, sí.
Lo lleva a la ventanilla.
Ahorita no tengo que pagar nada.
I'm sorry.
Ahorita no tengo que pagar nada.
I don't have to pay anything right now?
No, that will be on the day of the sentence.
Me llegó
Hoy no. En el día de la
me llegó
imposición de la condena, sí.
me llegó un papel de $40, algo así, no sé de qué.
They gave me a paper saying I owed $40. I don't know what that's
Yes.
for.
It's a booking fee, and he does owe the $40 booking fee. He can pay that at the counter.
Sí, son los $40 por tomar toda su información cuando le pararon. Usted lo puede pagar en la ventanilla
Okay.
de
Very
ficheo.
All right, our next case is a second hearing in the matter of Village Manor Apartments versus Ashley Tice. This was filed as a demand for non-payment of rent. We were here last week on March 24th. Other counsel from the Cox Law Firm was here, but today we have Carrie Zanin. Lori Cousineau, the manager, was here, and Ashley Tice was here. Actually, this was bumped out Monday. Anyway, we lost a day somewhere.
I have an update.
All right, well, let me finish my note.
Okay.
I got a letter about 2 minutes before I walked into court from Ashley Tice that I have here in front of me. What's your update, Ms. Anna?
I just got a message just 2 minutes ago from my client that, because when I left my desk and the file, it showed that she hadn't gone into the office. I'm being told that she did come into the office and a fax came back that she hasn't been working. So what I show that she owes is $45.35 plus court costs of $185. So not the 5,000 I showed originally.
Well, that's a significant difference.
Yes.
Ms. Tice, you sent me a letter talking about all of your hardships. And some of this I know, I had handled some of those other cases that you're referring to. But they've recalculated your arrearage, and through April, it's $45.35. Is that agreeable with you, Ms. Tice? Ms. Tice, can you hear me? Hopefully you heard it. You just got a $5,000 surprise. Let's add that up. 35 plus 185. 230.35.
Yes, Judge.
Ms. Bauer, I think this case is about to be a lot less eventful than I thought it was going to be. I can go ahead and put you and Ms. Zaretz in the breakout room and let you start your discussion with her.
Thank you, Judge. And for what it's worth, well, that matches roughly what I had figured out in that case. So.
All right, very good.
See what happens when we're both in the courtroom, Judge?
Yes, that's very helpful.
Mary, I was going to call you, or I thought about calling you on the case, but it was somebody else from.
Always
Yeah,
call me on these cases
Alex.
because eventually these are going to be if I'm not here in the first hearing, I'm going to be here in the second. So just call me.
Once they become a problem, they give them to her. So, all right. All right. Ms. Zaretz, hit the button that says join.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Ms. Tice was there, then she wasn't, then she was back, and she's out there, but the numbers are certainly significantly different. And Ms. Cousineau, what is her rent now?
She is a zero renter. Yeah, she came in yesterday at 4 o'clock and I just got the fax back like 2 minutes ago.
Well, nothing like waiting till the last minute.
Exactly.
Ms. Tice, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I'm sorry.
All right, let me call the case because we never did within your hearing. This is file 24231 LT Village Manor versus Tice. We're here on March 24th and we continue the matter until today, April 5th. When we were last here, the arrearage was alleged to be $5,249.35. She was going to go in and meet with management of Village Manor, which she finally did yesterday at 4 o'clock. They've recalculated your arrearage and it's $45.35 through March with $185 in court costs, which is the filing fee, service fee, and the attorney fee. So the total owed is not $5,249. It's $230.35. Does that sound more accurate to you, Ms. Tice?
Yes, it does, Your Honor. Yes.
All right, that's due. Now, I see you've also asked for assistance. They're much more likely to give you $230 of assistance than they are $5,500 worth. So the rent through April is $45.35. Court costs are $185. The total is $230.35, due within 10 days from today, which would be April 15th, same day your taxes are due. I want you, as soon as you get the judgment, to share it with these people you've asked for assistance from. Your rent is now zero, so there's not going to continue to be an arrearage, but we're going to need to get this paid up or you could be subject to being evicted. They don't have to evict you on April 15th. That's probably not likely that they're going to, but you have 56 days from today that they can ask for the writ. So ideally, you should attempt to pay this within the next 10 days, either with your own funds or through some assistance. Ms. Zana, will you provide me with an order?
I will, Judge. I'll send it to you in just a few minutes.
All right. Now, Ms. Tice, if for any reason you do move, you need to turn in your keys and give your forwarding address in writing within 4 days of your moving. If you stay there and you can't pay the entire rent, the only thing that'll cure this is paying the entire amount. Partial payment will not prevent the writ of eviction, but it shows good faith to your landlord. If you're making some payments, they're likely to work with you to get caught up on this. I don't think their goal is to get you evicted. Their goal is to get squared away here. So I'm going to send you a copy of that in the mail. I'll sign it as soon as I get it.
Okay.
But let me repeat, 4535 is the only amount of arrearage, 185 in court costs for a total of 230.35 due in 10 days. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, stay in contact with your manager. Part of the problem is you didn't show up till yesterday at 4 o'clock, the day before the hearing, and we talked about this like 12 days ago. So make sure you keep your manager apprised as to what's going on here.
I was waiting to hear back something from my lawyer because I wasn't sure. I don't know. I just wanted to hear from my lawyer. He just called me right before this meeting though, or this hearing.
Who was your lawyer?
May something. It's the same person that was in the last hearing, the
No,
legal
Meg
aid.
Bauer. Meg Bauer.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she was here. She's talking with another client. Okay, she came to the same calculation that they did, so that's why I let her go so she could speak to the other people. All right, thank you. I hope things get better for you. Having zero rent is certainly a blessing.
It is a blessing.
All right, you're all free to go.
Thank you, Judge. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. There was a lot going on in that affidavit. The house got trashed and maybe a disturbing the peace and just call it good. But that's a pretty bad circumstance. Good morning, sir. Are you Aaron Burdick?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your patience. You've been here all morning. Everybody else as well, but you've seen I only do one case at a time.
Right.
You got charged with one of our most common offenses, which is driving suspended. Driving suspended is a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Carries 2 points on your driving record and requires that your license be suspended. Let's take a look at your driving record. You were suspended at that time. That had expired in 22 and some other stuff. Did you get your license back?
Yes, I did. I just got it reinstated.
Yep. And Your Honor, I'm holding a copy of his Michigan temporary license in my hands, so.
Well, that's ultimately the goal. If this driving suspended or even a no operator's license hit your driving record, it would undo what you just did. So Ms. Halleck has agreed, because you got your license back, to amend this to a charge called allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code. It's kind of a screwy statute because the other that you're allowing to violate the motor vehicle code is yourself. But the reason for using it, it carries no points, doesn't get abstracted to your driver's license, won't affect your ability to keep or maintain your driver's license. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, this was a city case. I believe it was.
Oh, so it wasn't,
Right. Yes.
it wasn't mean Melissa. It would have been Mr. George.
Although I gracefully would have done the same.
Well, the goal is to have people get their license back.
Right.
And so every prosecutor would have done this. Melissa used to be on the other side of the fence and asked for that for her clients. So that's the good news. The bad news is you're going to owe me some money. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Other than what's been said here, did anybody promise you anything to get you to plead to this
No, sir.
or threaten you?
No, sir.
Where were you going that day?
I was dropping someone off From work that I worked with,
And where are you coming from?
work American Axle.
All right.
I work second shift.
All right. Well, the good news is you got your license and I'm pleased about that. The fine is $75. I'll reduce it from 100.
Okay.
$75 crime victims' rights fee, $50 state minimum fee, and $150 attorney fee. $350. That's what a lot of things come out to today. That's expensive. The only fine is $75. The rest of it is cost. How long will it take you to pay $350?
I don't really know yet because I'm paying on 3 other counties too.
All right, well, let's go out to June 30th. Is that long enough?
That should be, can I start a payment plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you had to get your ground cleared on 3 other counties and you got the temporary permit.
Yep.
Don't screw it up. So good for you. I'm happy that you got it.
Thank you.
We'll do $50 per month. The rest of your life. About 7 months. All right, you're good to go, sir. I'm glad. Now, that's just a temporary permit. You got some more work to do.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow through all the way on it.
I'm
Just a
waiting-
minute.
Waiting for it in the mail.
Let me make sure that, I don't think you owe me any more. You're good to go. You know, I let that Miss Coomer go. She has, good morning, we're back. We suspended the record for a moment. We took a short recess. And we've got plenty of work to do. We've got about 10 cases lined up to resolve. And so I hope you're all still with us. All the people at the assisted living facility in South Bend and others who regularly watch. Thank you for being here. All right. This is file number 243080D. Dear Elizabeth Laura Hatfield,
Yes, sir.
I met you at your arraignment. You're here with your attorney, Sarissa Montag. You're charged with operating while intoxicated and a civil infraction of refusing a preliminary breath test. Your lawyer and the lawyers at her law firm are very good at getting people into the services they need before we do the sentence. The prosecutor has agreed to reduce this to a charge of impaired driving. And we expect that we'll be setting this for a plea and sentence. In the meantime, they'll probably be having you doing some things, victim impact panel, evaluation, that sort of thing, which is helpful. So we're going to set for plea and sentence. You've been waiting all morning for us to take a break so we could determine this. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Sarissa, are you available on Monday, May 13th at 11?
Yes, Judge.
All right. This is like doing things in advance. Does that date work for you?
Is there a possibility of a Wednesday instead of a Monday?
Yes,
Thank you.
that's all right. How about Wednesday, May 15th at 11?
That works for me.
All right, Ms. Montag, I'll ask you if you would take the defendant out, get the paperwork regarding scheduling, pre-screening and sentencing. And we'll do it on Wednesday, May 15th.
I will do that, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. There was a lot going on in that affidavit. The house got trashed and maybe a disturbing the peace and just call it good. But that's a pretty bad circumstance. Good morning, Sue. Are you Aaron Burdick?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your patience. You've been here all morning. Everybody else as well, but you're seeing I only do one case at a time.
Right.
You got charged with one of our most common offenses, which is driving suspended. Driving suspended is a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Carries 2 points on your driving record and requires that your license be suspended. Let's take a look at your driving record. You were suspended at that time. That had expired in 22 and some other stuff. Did you get your license back?
Yes, I did. I
Yay.
just got it reinstated.
Yep, and Your Honor, I'm holding a copy of his Michigan temporary license in my hands, so.
Well, that's ultimately the goal. If this driving suspended or even a no operator's license hit your driving record, it would undo what you just did. So Ms. Halleck has agreed, because you got your license back, to amend this to a charge called allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code. It's kind of a screwy statute, because the other that you're allowing to violate the motor vehicle code is yourself. But the reason for using it, it carries no points, doesn't get abstracted to your driver's license, won't affect your ability to keep or maintain your driver's license. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, this was a city case. I believe it was.
Oh, so it wasn't,
Right.
Yes.
it wasn't mean Melissa, it would have been Mr. George.
Although I gracefully would have done the same.
Well, the goal is to have people get their license back.
Right.
And so every prosecutor would have done this. Melissa used to be on the other side of the fence and asked for that for her clients. So that's the good news. The bad news is you're gonna owe me some money. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Other than what's been said here, did anybody promise you anything to get you to plead to this
No, sir.
or threaten you?
No, sir.
Where were you going that day?
I was dropping someone off from work that I worked with,
And where were you coming from?
work American Axle.
All right.
I worked second shift.
All right. Well, the good news is you got your license and I'm pleased about that. The fine is $75. I'll reduce it from 100.
Okay.
$75 crime victims' rights fee, $50 state minimum fee, and $150 attorney fee. $350. That's what a lot of things come out to today. That's expensive. The only fine is $75. The rest of it is cost. How long will it take you to pay $350?
I don't really know yet because I'm paying on 3 other counties too.
All right, well, let's go out to June 30th. Is that long enough?
That should be, can I start a payment plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you had to get your ground cleared on 3 other counties and you got the temporary permit.
Yep.
Don't screw it up. So good for you. I'm happy that you got it.
Thank you.
We'll do $50 per month. The rest of your life. About 7 months. All right, you're good to go, sir. I'm glad. Now, that's just the temporary permit. You got some more work to do.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow through all the way on it.
I'm
Just a
waiting-
minute.
Waiting for it in the mail.
Let me make sure that, I don't think you owe me any more. You're good to go. You know, I let that Miss Coomer go. She has, there it is, Neri Felipe Mazargos, charged with operating while intoxicated, impeding traffic, and driving while a suspended license. Is that you, sir?
Señor, ¿usted es el señor Neri Mazariagos?
Sí.
Yes.
This is Ms. Vivian Montero.
Esta es la señora Vivian Montero.
She is an interpreter,
Ella es una intérprete.
and she works here in our court quite often to help me.
Y ella trabaja en el tribunal muy seguido para ayudarme.
I'm going to ask her to swear an oath to translate truthfully.
Voy a pedir que preste juramento para interpretar de manera fiel.
And then we'll begin. Do you swear or affirm to the best of your ability you will interpret these matters from Spanish into English and English into Spanish?
I do.
And would you state your name, please?
Vivian Montero, Court Interpreter 18369.
Mr. Bush, your lawyer, informed me
Licenciado Bush, su abogado me informó que
that we're going to have to continue this case to another day.
tenemos que aplazar este caso a otra fecha.
As part of the investigation in this case, the police took your blood.
Como parte de la investigación en este caso, la policía le mandó a sacar sangre
And it's been sent to the State Police Crime Laboratory for analysis.
y lo han mandado al laboratorio para un análisis al laboratorio estatal.
to determine whether there was alcohol or other drugs in your system.
para determinar si había alcohol u otras sustancias reguladas en su sistema.
And that report has not come back yet.
No hemos recibido el informe todavía.
So neither the prosecutor or your lawyer
Ni el fiscal ni el abogado de usted
are prepared to fully discuss this case without having all the facts.
no pueden discutir el caso sin tener todos los hechos.
So they're going to ask me to continue this matter for another pretrial.
Me han pedido que aplace esta audiencia para otra fecha, otra preconsulta ante el juicio.
So I have no objection if you do it on a Friday or move it to a Thursday.
Well, we'll put it on a Thursday afternoon. Let's see if I can see when you're here.
Vamos a hacerlo por un jueves por la tarde. Déjeme ver cuándo el licenciado va a estar.
Is Thursday, May 2nd work for you?
Jueves 2 de
2
mayo, ¿funciona para el licenciado?
Bear with me a minute, please.
Sure. I know we got phone problems here. Good morning.
What time you're on?
2 o'clock.
Yes, I'm doing, well, yeah, some abuse and neglect. That may be in Three Rivers at 1 o'clock, so, but we'll have to figure out how that works.
We'll do the best we can.
I'm in the area.
Okay. How about if we set it for 2:30?
That would, I think, would make it more doable. Thank you.
We're opening a new courthouse in Three Rivers. So the first time in the history of St. Joe County, we're gonna have a annex courthouse, but it means the lawyers are gonna have to be 2 places at once.
And mine may very well be Zoom if there's a, I think there isn't gonna be a Zoom station here, so I might be able to do it from, but we'll find out.
All right, well, Vivian, let's advise the defendant that he has to be here on Thursday, May 2nd at 2:30.
Señor, usted tiene que regresar nuevamente al tribunal el 2 de mayo a las 2:30 de la tarde.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you still living at the same address?
¿Usted vive en la misma dirección?
Sí.
Yes.
All right. Why don't you take this and put that on your refrigerator?
Tome esa notificación y no se le olvide, que lo pegue a la nevera para que no se lo vaya a olvidar.
Okay.
I will see you on Thursday, May 2nd.
Le volveré a ver el día jueves 2 de mayo a las 2:30.
Good morning, Mr. War. You're here with your lawyer, Mr. John Bush, and you're charged with operating while intoxicated. We've had several of these today. This happened in White Pigeon. Operating while intoxicated is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Prosecutors agreed to reduce this to a lesser charge of impaired driving. I don't know if you were in here when I described that. It's a misdemeanor. It's better for several reasons. Carries a lower fine, $300 maximum, up to 93 days in jail. 4 points on your driving record, but allows you to keep a restricted driver's license so you can drive back and forth to work, school, treatment, other limited purposes. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
You were in here when I went through the advice of rights a little earlier. Do you understand you're giving all those rights up? By entering this plea, there won't be any trial?
Yes, sir.
Let me take a look at this.
We'll be doing this on the PBT today. It was
All right.
0.16.
You got pulled over in US 12 and 131 right at the main 4 in White Pigeon on October 6th. Where were you going?
Get home.
From where?
My friend's house.
Where was the friend's house?
I don't remember what
exactly what section of town it was in.
but from White Pigeon?
Yes, sir.
You live in Three Rivers?
Yes, I do.
You work down there someplace?
White Pigeon,
Or like trailer factories or something? How'd you have to be in White Pigeon?
I was visiting a friend.
Okay,
He works in American Axle.
oh, okay. And what were you drinking?
A bottle of green tea liquor.
And your blood test was a 0.16 on the PBT?
Yes, sir.
This was 1:22 in the morning. It's right in front of the state police post. There's nobody in the state police post much anymore, but. Do you know why they pulled you over?
My car died in the middle of the highway.
Well, that'll do it. At least you didn't hurt yourself or somebody else, and that's good. How long have you been at American Axle?
3.5 years.
Good for you. What shift are you on?
Third.
So you're not missing work right now? You just been up all night?
Yes.
All right, well, we're gonna go with the same thing. I'm gonna set this for sentencing on. John, did I just set you for one?
No, Your Honor.
All right, well, let's try May 6th. Does that work for you? Monday, May 6th.
Oh, we said pretrial, you know, but we didn't send a sentence.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Just a moment. At what time, Your Honor?
11.
That was fine.
All right. How big was this bottle of green tea? Was it like a big thing or just like a?
From 20 ounce bottle.
All right, I'll look into that. I'm not familiar with that. All right, I'm gonna give you this form. Ask the bailiffs to take you out to the court office. You'll come in and meet with the probation department earlier that morning, about 9 or 9:30. And we'll come in the courtroom oops, that's May 6th. All right, Mr. Warren, take this scratched up form I just did out to the counter. And I will see you on May 6th. That's a Monday. And we'll deal with it at that time. Thank you.